Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
And today we're going to tell you how we felt about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. This is one that, Eric, I've been certainly looking forward to. It wasn't as big of a deal to me this year as a couple of other movies, and I think it's because I just expected it to be solid. You know, I didn't have any, like, I wasn't nervous, I wasn't timid about this movie.
I mean, my biggest worry going in was that it would be the same movie as comedies tend to be, or just the first movie backwards, all the same
just
jokes
everything we
over and
knew
over.
about it, with the way Gunn had been talking about it, I really thought that probably wouldn't happen. And, you know, we get a lot of that out of the way right away. You know, there's a couple of lines from the first movie that right away pop out, and then I don't think we keep doing
true.
that.
No, we didn't.
That's kind of nice. Like the whole whatever a-holes, that line, like that's right at the beginning, and then there's not a lot of that.
We also
mostly
mostly get Baby Groot out of our system immediately. That's nice.
Yeah.
Not that Groot's gone. I just mean we just kind of...
No, he has a major bit that's kind of all his own toward the beginning, and then after that, everything he does is real intertwined with the rest of our characters.
Yeah, it's interesting
it doesn't
because...
feel like we're relying too much on the cuteness of Baby Groot. The merchandising is, and I feel like maybe it's okay. Maybe they can get more away with that because that's an easily merchandisable thing if the movie's not that way. I don't know how you feel about that.
It's real obvious that this was a studio-mandated, corporate, cynical, we have to have the cute thing, and Gunn did the best he could with it.
And I don't think
he kind of front-loaded it and then, like, did, like, actual character
I don't think
stuff.
it's just the cute thing. I think it's because people gravitated so hard to that at the end of the last
No, that's exactly what it is.
I think that's the reason they did that. And I think that
once
the
they
tape
sold
thing is that way too. I mean, I think Gunn would have done the Volume 2 thing, but that might have also been kind of a studio mandate. I don't know.
Once they sold 1 million dancing Groots, they were like, well, you better keep Groot small in the second movie. Like, they're clearly... I don't think that's the natural way to go. That's not what you instinctively would do.
I wouldn't think so either. I was really surprised that was what they decided to do until I thought about it, and like you, I was like, you know, it does kind of feel like it's an easy thing to merchandise. It's almost like a Pixar Cars thing. Like, yes, of course we're doing more of that.
Yeah. Anyways.
But anyway, so this movie...
That's all the ranting I'm going to do about Baby Groot,
okay,
I promise.
Cool. Yeah, well,
I promise.
And it wasn't bad.
No.
And he had funny stuff, I thought.
Yeah, he was alright. I don't understand how Groots work, but that's not really for this video.
No, I don't entirely understand that.
Because he's literally a baby.
A while to... Yeah, good call.
I thought he would be Groot, but in a small body, but he's not Groot.
And we are consistent about that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like the more what little we learn about that seems to be, well, it's almost like being reincarnated is the same thing you were in the first place.
Yeah.
But anyway, so not to give too much away plot-wise, but putting this out the day the movie comes out, if you haven't seen the movie, it's about Peter Quill finding out who his real father is, and there's a lot of kind of parental and family stories through a lot of subplots through the movie, and those are all paralleled real hard.
Yeah, this film's all about parents.
Thematically, it's about parents, it's about kids, it's about what parents do to kids, especially, and of course it's about the family that you make for yourself versus the family that you're initially stuck with, which the last movie was about to some degree too, but I feel like this is a nice extension of that because we find out more about those initial blood relations in the first place. Characters that are much more prominently featured here, of course, include Nebula and Yondu. And Yondu is really important because, of course, he's the guy who raised Peter Quill in the first place, and we do quite a bit with that.
I think Yondu is what you thought Drax was going to be in this movie.
To some degree, but Drax still was what I thought Drax would be in this movie.
A completely different character that doesn't resemble the first film at all?
I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I think it's fine. I enjoyed him immensely. I think that totally works, and we can get into
he's a completely different character.
And I can see that argument. I mean, I can see why you're thinking that. I also think that it's natural and follows the last movie.
I liked him, but he feels like a completely different person to me.
I have a great argument, I think, for why that is. I would imagine it's the argument that was intended. Okay. But we'll talk about it.
Probably not here.
Drax, maybe a tiny bit. Drax was, maybe just a tiny bit. Drax was... really what I expected. I saw that trailer. I was really excited about Drax. That did not disappoint. I thought he was so much fun and still had plenty of heart. And he's kind of the heart of the team now, which is cool because I feel like last movie it was sort of kind of Groot, and now it's sort of kind of him. And I like that a lot. But anyway, so why don't we just go ahead and get into boards, shall we?
Well,
unless there's some more
before we get into boards,
sure.
Well, I could say for my actual feelings. So we'll just do boards.
Go right ahead.
All right. So
how did this movie, Eric, make you feel?
My
experience with this movie made me feel as if I was.
Made me feel like I don't know. See spoken word portion for more insights.
I have no board. That is the closest to just writing I am Groot as you possibly could have.
I appreciate that this movie does something that's really hard to describe.
I don't know. Clearly.
I like that this movie does something that's really hard to describe.
If you came here for eloquence, you're in the wrong
spoken
place.
word portion for more insights.
All right, here comes the eloquence. Go ahead, sir. No pressure.
It is a larger scale, but a smaller scope. This is almost a grand, cosmic, closed room drama.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really interesting choice. I really appreciate that this is not the same kind of plot as the first movie. Like, this isn't just not the first movie. Like, this is very different.
Mm-hmm. We get away from the MacGuffin thing.
Yeah, completely.
Real quick. I mean, there is a thing people are after, but it's not our characters, and it's something they have, and it's not the be-all, end-all universe game changer, and that's nice. I think it's okay to say it's just batteries, the end.
Yeah. I like this movie.
Yeah. Oh, which is actually kind of cool thematically when you get into what
you groaned at some point, and I thought that's what you were groaning at.
No, I'll as cryptically as possible. I will explain what the groan was about. But yeah,
because I thought that's what you were groaning at. There's a point where the movie says the battery thematic significance, kind of.
That's actually not what I was groaning about.
Okay.
So I might have missed it because of the groan.
Okay.
But there is too much of that, right? Of spelling out thematic stuff.
Yeah, and one of my biggest issues is that when we get to the end of the movie and we have the big... This is the thematic... This is the moral of the film. Star-Lord has a big stand line where he says, this is what you're supposed to take away from this movie, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it means.
Yeah. I think a second viewing, I might appreciate
I'm not going to say that this movie is thematically muddled, but when we got to the end, I was like, I don't know what you're saying. I have no idea what you're saying. The humor wore on me a little bit.
Yeah.
Early on in the film, we could not end a scene without having a joke.
Yeah.
And they were always bad. The transition...
It got real predictable, right? You just sit there and wait for it.
There was one that
And when it didn't happen, it was surprising, and like maybe that was somewhat of the idea there, but...
There's one that involved a carpet where the second I saw the carpet, I knew what the joke was, because I've seen that joke 40 times. The humor wears a little bit.
It's funny. Do you ever find yourself laughing at a thing because you think you know where it's going, and then it doesn't go there, and then you go, oh wait, no, this isn't funny like I thought it was? That thing I had that with. I thought they were going to do something more with that, and then I was, oh wait, no, I have seen this movie.
Yeah, this is just... It didn't feel as cutting and clever and original as the first film, humor-wise.
Yeah. And hard to do. Hard not to be influenced by how popular that movie was because it was a comedy.
Right, but...
And to be as original.
So much of the comedy in this feels been there, done that, not from the first Guardians. It feels been there, done that because Guardians is the humorous tone of the entire country right now. And maybe even a little bit before Guardians, but that is the sense of humor. And so I have seen a lot of this humor before, and it does the thing that Joss Whedon balances on a delicate line of when you start making fun of tropes, it becomes real hard for me to care when you fall into them.
Yeah.
There are certain scenes that happen where I was like, yeah.
Or not to feel like it's more cliche because you've been saying how cliche it is.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a little bit of that with this movie. I really like the plot.
Yeah.
I really like all of that. I did have a point near the end where I was just like, and I had this with the first Guardians, can I just have this movie without all the quirky? can I just get a giant space opera movie, please?
Although
that doesn't have to stop and go and like wink at the camera every
here in a
30
few
seconds.
weeks, you might finally be getting that.
I really hope Valerian is that. I really do. But I liked it. I think it has the potential. I think I have the potential to like it more than the first one. Kurt Russell is phenomenal. He's always good. As I've said before, he's not in bad movies.
Would you agree with me if I were to say...
I'm really mixed on how I feel about this movie.
Yeah, would you... But would you be with me if I were to say that the problem with this... what problems it has are not the typical the movie has an uninspired lame villain. I don't think it has that problem.
No, it doesn't have a bad villain.
I have some issues with the villain, but it's not that he's dull and I'm not interested.
It doesn't have a bad villain. It doesn't have a bad plot.
Yeah.
This does not have the same problems that more generic Marvel Studios films have. These are problems all its own that I'm hoping can get worked out by the third one. I don't know. I really don't know how I feel about this movie. I liked it. There is a little bit of that trying too hard. Like, this is not Iron Man 2, but it's got a little bit of that to it, where it's like, oh, you liked what I did. Let me show you how good I can do it. And it's like
one of those things where you almost wish it had been made in a vacuum, like the first one, where James Gunn had no idea how it was going to be received. He made the movie he wanted to make, and in this movie, there is a lot of it's his sensibilities. He's making the movie he wants to make, but I think he takes some risks with some of the humor because he tried that last time.
It is less child appropriate humor in some places.
I wasn't sure how I felt about that. Okay, I am sure how I felt about that. I didn't like that.
I didn't like it either. Well, okay, there's one joke
front loaded.
There's one joke
vulgarity.
There's one joke that's very Futurama and I thought was funny, but the first film's so family friendly. I didn't like it there, but I thought the joke was funny. There's a joke in the beginning that is not funny, is vulgar, and doesn't belong in this movie.
I think I know what you're talking about.
It involves Drax.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And when you say family friendly, I mean, we pushed the boundaries of that a little bit in the first movie, certainly.
Yeah, but we weren't gross.
Yeah, there were things like language we used and some profanity bordering on. I wasn't even thinking of that. I actually like that.
I do too.
Because a kid's not going to know what that means.
Exactly.
Is probably not going to catch on to it and roll with it. There are things here that I'm a little bit worried that my kids might quote, and I don't really want that to happen or to have to deal with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was that. I mean, it didn't kill it like Transformers 2.
No.
It wasn't like that.
It's not overrun with it, but there's enough of it that it's...
But it rubbed me the wrong way because it was there so early, and so much of it early.
But...
And then just humor that didn't land. You know, as we're saying, there were some... And I bet there were some jokes that I will appreciate on a second time around that maybe I just didn't get the first time.
Almost every joke that is a scene ender is a clunker.
You think
Almost every single time a scene has to end with a joke, it's a clunker joke. And by like the fourth one, I knew it was coming. I'm like, all right, make your joke about what just happened.
Yeah, let me go ahead and flip my board. This movie made me feel like I watched an entire season of television truncated into 2 hours, preceded by a 2-hour pilot.
Is the first movie the 2-hour pilot?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's where I was trying. I'm like, wait.
First movie feels like a movie. This movie feels like it's like it's several episodes of something truncated down. I mean, like it really
feels crammed.
It really does. And what's weird is it doesn't. It's not that it doesn't juggle its characters well. It's not like I don't know how to put this. The character arcs don't feel like they're too like they're too copy-paste, or like we had to spell them out real fast and then get to the end. It's more just there's...
Gamora and Nebula a little bit, I think.
Oh, you think so? Yeah.
I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. I learned my lesson. Like...
Yeah. I think it was just... And I don't even know if this is a problem. I'm just saying that that it felt like a longer, like a story I would expect to see in a longer form.
Mm-hmm. There's so many pieces
and so many subplots.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how you get around that because of how many characters this movie has to juggle. And as I say, I like pretty much everybody.
Oh, I'm gonna go with I'm feeling it, but it's not a bad movie. You'll enjoy yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
I liked it.
Yeah, I'll do that
feel like
right
I have
away.
quite a bit of problems.
I certainly liked it a lot, but I really do feel like this is a movie I'm likely to like more and more on future viewings. There's kind of. There's some stuff I just don't think I appreciated because I was hung up on other things, which is likely to happen when there's so much stuff going on. And I like that, and I'm impressed that all of the family stories that are all paralleled and connected together didn't feel too hackneyed to me. Where everybody has to be dealing with a family thing right now, and that's too coincidental.
There's one that felt a little coincidental. Well, not coincidental. It felt obvious to me
because we just have to get it in a neat kind of box.
Yeah. There's a character who's like, and that's just like how my dad treated me, and I was like, you don't even know that anybody else is dealing with daddy issues. Like, what? This came out of nowhere.
It certainly wouldn't. A lot of that would have been problematic if if Nebula had shown up any later in the film.
Yeah.
We have to kind of get to that real quick, but
she's uninteresting to me.
I kind of had that too. But Gamora I liked more. I have to say.
I did for the first half, and then the second Nebula shows up, I'm like, I just don't care about you two. Like, just leave this movie. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I cared.
Wah! Thanos was mean to us. Wah! I don't care.
I wanted her to have some screen time with Rocket because of that. And the character that we decided to compare Rocket to, I thought worked okay, but it would have been nice.
It would have been better with Nebula.
One of the bigger disappointments just on a first viewing, I think, is kind of Rocket.
He has the best joke in the movie, and it's in the first 10 minutes.
He's really. He's still funny. I don't know that I latched on to his tragedy and his plight the way I wanted to.
He's a little bit more prickly in this movie, which is kind of the point.
Well, it's on purpose. I don't know if I thought it was too obvious. I don't know what the deal was with it. It's just I was surprised by all the other characters I was latching onto before him. And like I said, I loved Drax. I think the Drax thing works because he's the one character who has, after the first movie, already kind of gotten over his parent issues. And so he's kind of free to be the way he is now.
Okay, but my issue is, in the first movie, he's funny because he's kind of oblivious, and the whole literal thing, right?
Yeah.
But he's still like
he's grown and learned about that.
He's still like a barbarian warrior.
Yeah.
And he's a clown in this. It would be like if
I think it works though. I like how happy he is because he's learned the lesson everybody else has to in this movie.
But he's
already.
a doofus. Like that's the thing is he's not just happy. He's a cartoon.
I don't think it's that bad.
Okay.
It's not like he's not still capable. It's not like
he is as a fighter, but like I don't know.
That's barely what he had in the first movie, though. Like
right, but he's barely a person to me in this movie.
You think so?
I really didn't. I don't dislike him. He's funny. He has no connection in my mind to the character that was in the first movie. I get that he went over his tragedy.
Yeah,
but I don't get the impression this is how he acted before his family was murdered. He's a stoic guy.
Neither. But that's the point: is that he found his family now, so he's able to change, and he's just happy.
It's too much for me. Like I don't know. It feels real disconnected to me.
I didn't have that. I thought it totally worked. But anyway, other things. You got your mask on more for Peter Quill.
I did get my mask on more.
That was cool.
Also, Peter Quill continues to make jokes. I'm not sure, or references that I'm not sure he can know.
I know we've had this conversation going, and I knew you were going to bring that up. And
it's ratings.
Ratings.
No child knows what ratings are.
I disagree.
Okay.
When I was 9 or 10, I lived in a house with parents that were constantly talking about TV. I was talking about those things. I knew what those things were.
Okay.
And your hang up has always been he was too young when he left Earth, and you're just not right about that.
Okay.
He was 10 when he left Earth. He's nostalgic for all the things he's nostalgic for. And going to space wouldn't change that. I haven't read an Animorph book in 15 years. I still remember so many of those characters and names of things and stuff. So I don't know, I think that works. I think that's okay. Personally, but yeah. the thing and again, I'm going to be cryptic about this. The thing I groaned about is that there's a, how do I explain this without spoiling it? There's
a device.
A normal person gets up in the morning, walks downstairs, kisses someone goodbye.
Watches Guardians of the Galaxy.
Watches Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. No. There's a place where we get a big revelation that I don't know why the person who gives it to us doesn't give it to us earlier, and it has to do with Peter Quill and his father. We know that something is off about all that, and we don't know what it is. And when it's finally given to us, I don't know why then. That was real problematic. It kind of felt like it kind of felt like the script was just waiting for the third act to happen. There's no reason for it to be withheld as long as it is, and we can talk about that in more detail when we get to the spoilers.
Yeah, because I know that the person was going to reveal information and then doesn't for no reason.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, no, that's not actually what I'm talking about.
Oh, is that what you're talking about?
But
are you talking? Okay.
Anyway,
okay.
We can talk about it when we get to the spoiler cast. But I understand I understand Ego's motivations, but there are things. I'll just come out and say that there are things he's not telling us that I don't know why we don't know yet. So that's a thing.
It runs the issue of, if you don't think you're evil, then why are you hiding your evil master plan?
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. But especially because I don't know why he thought it would go any differently than it did at that point. But anyway, the Ego planet thing is great. Yeah. It's so cool. The reveal of what he is wonderful. The thing I don't like about it has nothing to do with the movie. I wish I hadn't known. I really don't like that Gunn so early on. We knew like a year ago about that, and
it was one of the first things he revealed about the
understand that. And the way he talked about it was, well, it's not a thing that is a revelation in the movie. It's okay to tell you early. It is though. Like the big thing we were wondering at the end of Guardians is who is his father, and we knew from, if you were looking into the production of it, we knew it wasn't Jay's son or anybody, and so I was really excited to get into the movie and find that out. And then I thought that was such a cool idea, but I was like, well, everything else must be so much bigger and grander and crazier that you felt like you could give us that so you could say, look how nuts it's going to be. And there's some logic to that, because it's not like there's nothing, it's not like Batman vs Superman where once I know about Doomsday there's nothing else to get from that. With this, there certainly is, and that was exciting, and so I wasn't let down by it, but I would have been giddy in my seat if I hadn't known that, and so I wish that I hadn't known about that.
I think the third act is phenomenal.
Yeah, I do too.
As an action set piece, not necessarily thematically, because I don't know how I feel about
I like all the ideas. I question how some of it is just like kind of spoken in dialogue at the end, where it's like, yeah, I get it, just tell your story, just play it out. I don't know if you'll agree with this. I think it's one of, if not the most moving ending we've had.
I don't agree with that at all.
Okay, I thought it worked. I thought it totally worked.
No, the ending is touching, but it's marred by the exact thing I'm talking about, where I'm like, yes, well, it's really hard for me to care about this when you've made fun of all of this other stuff.
Oh, okay, I didn't have that with that part of it, with what we're talking about, but I don't know, and I really liked how it breathed. Like, I questioned some of the pacing here and there, and there were action scenes that I kind of tuned out for a little bit, but we really, really take our time with that ending, and I don't know, that totally worked for me.
Yeah. I liked it.
And was weirdly Star Wars-y.
It was really Star Wars-y.
Now that I'm thinking about it, but anyway, still, it was cool that Stallone was there. He didn't get as much to do as I thought he was going to, and yeah, Okay, so
Your
the
boy?
thing I was so excited about was that Stallone and Rosenbaum, Michael Rosenbaum from Smallville, Lex Luthor, were gonna be like a duo in this.
And he said and James Gunn said they're really important characters.
Yeah, and maybe for the future, but I didn't get
And
that
kind
here.
of thematically.
Yeah, certainly. And they make stuff happen, but just their presence, not the fact that it's those actors or the screen time they get or anything about their...
Rosenbaum gets one line.
Yeah, he gets one line, and it didn't have to be him, and it kind of didn't matter that it was him, and that's all I'll say about that whole thing. But I don't know. Again, if we do anything with them later on, maybe it'll be really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. That seemed like such a Stallone character. It seemed like...
It was like Judge Dredd. It felt like Judge Dredd.
It felt a lot like... Yeah, and like...
Like, there was a point where I was expecting him to yell, "You betrayed the law!"
See, I wasn't thinking Judge Dredd. I was just thinking like a rough and tumble character who has like a code and a morality, and he really expects better things from people. It's weirdly Rocky, and I imagined Gunn and whoever else, he wrote this, didn't he?
Yeah.
I kind of imagine Gunn working on the script going, the perfect guy would be Stallone. I'll call him and see if he'll play this role.
Yeah.
You know, it felt like that kind of thing. So that was really neat. I should also mention that especially when we get to the planet, especially when we actually do Ego, it's breathtaking. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's really pretty. There's a lot of super pretty stuff on that in this movie. I will say that half the time when the Gamora is on screen, it's obviously a green screen, and it only seems to happen with her.
Is it because she's green?
No, it's not. I don't think. I mean, I'm sure it's a different color when she's standing in front of it.
Is that why Drax is gray?
Maybe
Is
so.
it a green screen issue?
And they're just sick of all the green characters they have to put in front of things. Yeah, I don't know why he went from green to gray, and I didn't notice it until you pointed it out. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. He was green last
It's just
movie.
a character change, which I hate because it's different, and I hate things that are different. He's green in the comics. Make him green. James Gunn. You think you're so much better in the comics? You're not!
I certainly have reservations. I think I might have liked it a smidge more than you. I can't tell.
I don't know how I felt about this movie.
Yeah.
I have a lot of issues, and I like a lot of things. I don't know.
It was a good time. I certainly, really enjoyed the crap out of a lot of it. But I think some of that dialogue could have been, some of the comedic dialogue could have been trimmed, and that maybe there needed to be another pass through that script. But But all in all, certainly we're recommending it, and we had a good time. So thanks a lot for watching, folks. We sure appreciate it. We're going to try to do a spoiler cast for you this weekend, so we'll talk for an hour or more, and spoil every
Plan on me or more.
Little morsel we feel like talking about. And in the meantime,
if you're making time in your planner, your day planner, plan for more than an hour.
For maybe more than an hour. Yeah, we'll just start saying that an hour, but probably more than an hour. So and expect maybe some of the important things to be after you thought you wouldn't have to watch anymore. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks. Be sure to appreciate it. We'll see you Sunday night at 8 Central if you want to talk about this movie anymore. And in the meantime, I am Captain Logan.
I'm Eric.
Thanks for watching.